What could make a doctor collapse after discovering who his pregnant patient was? It should be a regular currency and he shouldn't be bothered, isn't it? But here is a unique story that you haven't heard of before. This is the story of Lysandro and Crystal. You know the situation when a parent has had such a distinguished career in the profession, and the kid just sees a need to follow in the father's footsteps. That's how Lysandro chose what he studied in college. His dad was an exceptional doctor who achieved enviable heights in his profession. He was well known for helping people who couldn't handle their hospital bills. But this family wasn't always financially buoyant. They went through some tough times in the past. Los Angeles's parents got married at a young age. They were both high school lovers whose relationship was the envy of the old school. Many students thought their relationship would not survive, but they proved them all wrong. At the age of 20, Lysandra's mom, Sandra, became pregnant. This was at the time when his parents had just gained college admission. Sandra was struggling with juggling her job and having a baby, and their financial difficulties only made things tougher for this young family. The father, Martin, had not started working as a doctor, and the family was struggling. But while this family struggled to make ends meet, Martin never stopped helping people whenever he could. It was one of those kind endeavors that propelled him to financial liberation. A bunch of high school students were returning home after a wild night out. They were all drunk and should not have been driving. The students were involved in a ghastly accident that saw all of them sustain various injuries, while 4 of the teenagers had bruises that didn't require serious treatment. One girl was badly injured and needed to be operated on immediately. It was Martin who went the extra mile to ensure that she got everything she needed, which was what saved her life. What this kind doctor didn't know was that the girl was from a very rich and powerful family. The girl's name is Ayana. She suffered severe trauma to her head and barely survived. Ayana is the daughter of a Russian oil magnate, the ones who are known as oligarchs. After the girl's family heard about what Martin had done for their daughter, they rewarded him abundantly. The Russian billionaire provided the funds for Martin to build a hospital and also get the best equipment money could buy. And this was how Martin's family built their wealth. The hospital was successful, and it was ranked as the top medical center not only in their state, but in the region. It was also recognized as one of the best in the country. Los Angeles' father also won numerous awards for the brilliant job he did. Now that they were rich, he could put his children in the best schools. He was able to afford them. Lysandro played football while he was in school, and he was quite popular and loved. He was not their best player, but he was good enough to make the team. After high school, Lysandro had his pick of the best schools, not because of his family's influence, but because he was a very intelligent student. After he got admission into college, the young man continued on his path of academic excellence. One day, while going to class, a lady who was rushing to class ran into him and knocked their books off both hands. He helped her pick up her books, and he couldn't help but notice how beautiful she was. The medical student was stunned by her beauty. However, she was in a hurry. He could sense that she didn't want to have a conversation, and trying to get a number would have been futile. Still, for the entire day, he blamed himself all day for not least making a move. He wondered if he would ever see her again. What if that was the only time he would ever see her face? Lysandro made a conscious effort to always use the same route. He met her. Maybe he would come across her again and get her number. For over a month he used the same route, but he never met the lady again. He had almost given up on ever meeting the girl when on Saturday he got a chance to see her again. This time she was in a car with another man, Sandra was worried. He was very happy to see her again, but was she in a relationship? Not long after, she came out of the car and the guy was driving stepped out as well, and they both walked into a restaurant. The medical student thought to himself that the way they were sharing jokes, they must be in love. He got his chance to talk to the girl. When the guy left the table for a few minutes, she remembered him immediately and apologized for running into him. Her name was Crystal, and she didn't hesitate in giving him her number. Crystal is a student studying education. She always wanted to be a teacher because she believes it is the best way to serve the community. Unlike Lysandro, she comes from a modest family. She has 4 siblings, and she was the only girl. Her family has not always been able to afford a luxurious lifestyle, but they have always been comfortable. Crystal and Lysandro became friends, and for a while that's all they were. They got along so well and spent most of their time doing things together. She admired him for his goals and personality. The young doctor wanted to be more than friends, but he was scared of rejection, so he never shared his feelings with her. This education student never had that problem. She made the first move by kissing him, after which they started dating. In their final year of college, Lysandra proposed. Of course, she said yes. Things were going well for the young couple, and they both got along very well with each other's families. So much so that one of Crystal's brother's kids was left with him because Lysandra was good with children. So why didn't they have theirs? Well, they have been trying very hard for a couple of years. Even before they got married, the pair tried to make babies, but it just never happened. Crystal was never pregnant. The couple visited a specialist and had various fertility tests. The test results proved the problem was with Lysandro. He had a low sperm count and the doctor prescribed several drugs for him. However, 2 years later and nothing had changed. Lysandro was depressed. He had a faithful wife who never stopped loving him, but he felt inadequate for not being able to have a baby with her. One night he told Crystal that if she wanted a divorce, he wouldn't hold it against her because it was his body that was a problem. But rather than leave him, she suggested they adopt a child. Not long after they started considering adoption, the teacher was feeling unwell. She was always feeling nauseous and she realized she hadn't seen her period for like 2 months. However, she did not tell her husband because she didn't want to give him false hope. Instead, she took a pregnancy test which confirmed her suspicions she was pregnant. Isn't that amazing? But rather than telling us Andrew, she wanted to give him a surprise that would be worthy of the news, and she had a unique plan to make it happen. This plan involves her husband's clinic staff members. She met with them and shared her plans with them. They were thrilled that she was pregnant, and they were all happy to play their role in making her plan happen. When I told the nurses that I was pregnant, they were very happy. One of the nurses, especially Isabel, who I'm very close to, we had become good friends. We cried together when I told her because she knows how much we wanted this and that it was affecting our marriage. So what was Crystal's plan? Lysandro had had a stressful day in the office when he was told there was a woman in discomfort who had just been rushed to the hospital. This was in the early stages of a pregnancy and a stomach had not started the show. They explained how the woman was feeling and asked them to conduct a pregnancy test for her. When it was time to tell the woman what her results were, he walked into the room and realized that it was his wife. His wife was the pregnant woman. Lysandro collapsed out of shock. After he was revived, he held onto his wife's belly and he couldn't stop crying. He thought he had woken up from a dream. Lysandro was finally going to be a father, and the thought of it filled him with so much joy. 7 months later, Crystal gave birth to a beautiful baby. Boy, the couple enjoyed being parents, and a few years later, they got lucky again and welcomed another son. Becoming a parent is probably one of life's greatest moments for people who wish to have a family. And there's no doubt about it that children are a blessing who bring extreme happiness. What do you think about this couple story telling next time? Stay safe.